Dear friends, today basically the thing I will try to take care of, particularly it is related with citation metrics. Before discussing this citation metrics, I will little bit touch on the word citation, as well as I will talk on the different metrics that present day we are using or we are feeling disturbed whether and which metrics is correct. I will also touch up a little bit on journal selection process. That is very, very important for a young researcher, which platform to be a best for your next best paper, that I will try to explain. Last, I will touch with little bit network visualization tools, as well as the scientometric analysis tool. I will little bit touch everything whatsoever it is possible. The very first slides, if you see, is just like the interdisciplinary nature of today's subjects. So if somebody says that I am belongs to science and somebody says I am belongs to social science, some days back, probably it was an acceptable phenomenon. But now the things have changed. And in this changed scenario, I particularly believe now the subject doesn't have any boundaries. Every subject is interconnected with another subject, and every sphere has some interference with another sphere too. In this diagram, I am trying to show you how one field, say for example computer science or say for example chemistry, is really attached with other fields, say for example biology, or may say for example medical science, everywhere. So it is just like a human brain, as like our human brain, which have so many cells and so many ideas, can accumulate and then take a single decision on various phenomena. Actually, today's science is basically based on such interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary interactions between subjects. Now, question comes maybe that how we measure these interactions. Altogether, the scientific people sometimes term it is because of the content matter by which we correlate one subject with another. But from our point of view, we are assuming it how the citation is related with one paper with the another. So for our perspectives, actually the interdisciplinariness of a subject or multidisciplinariness of a subject is nothing but the citation analysis or citation matrix. But fortunately or unfortunately, whatsoever you can say, this word citation have various connotations and meaning in various places. Actually, these screens create some trouble. This screens, because of this screen, number of things becoming little bit obscure. It is just coming up. Okay, let me push up into the top. Okay, I am trying to, some of the headings maybe it is not visible. Okay, so before starting this citation matrix, one have to be understand what actually the citation means. Altogether, everybody, most of the people may have an idea that when a paper published and it get or receives citation or recognition from other paper, usually it's termed as citation. But dear friends, dear my colleagues, I just want to say in citation analysis approach, the paper when you write, you use certain other papers in terms of reference list. Whenever an author writes an article just to justify his work, he produces little bit references at the end of his paper. In fact, in citation analysis approach, these are called cited references. and in common term we have termed it as a references. And after publishing, when this paper receive or get recognition from other paper, then in citation analysis approach we are talking it as a citing references or cited by, and in common it is termed as citation. So one thing you have to be very much careful before understanding the concept of citation analysis is that it is not only the receiving part, it is also the part that author uses in his or her article when she explain it, when she deliver it to the scholarly community. Now, there may have so many criticisms and endless criticisms are there, but fortunately, this citation, that is the recognition received from other paper of a published paper, is assumed as a de facto standard for measuring quality. So it is very, very important to understand what piece of citation is considered as a de facto standard. Does every piece of citation that a paper receives from various sources can be considered as a de facto standard for measuring quality? Certainly, I must say no. There are only few pieces of papers that are to be treated for measuring impact or measuring the quality of the journal in where it is published. Altogether, this citation is a term which is very popular, and that's why so many unethical agencies use these terms in different ways. And they are just making huge business by selling the word citation. Actually, you have to identify what the citation means is actually what citation actually have importance in scholarly communication process, and what tool should be used or generally considered as a tool for measuring the quality of science. Here, I am just trying to show you A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, like these all are paper. And you are just looking, if you see clearly, paper C, there are 4 arrows move outside of the paper. Means they have 4 references. You can say it cited references. But if you clearly see the paper A, then paper A have one inward link, one upward link, one outward link. So the inward link is citing references and the outer link is called cited references. That means a paper must have both those two links, cited as well as citing must have. Every paper should have both the two links. Now, in this context, 2 terms you have to be understand very, very important. Because, in citation analysis, we are talking about matrix. Then the matrix is based on 2 basic idea. One is called coupling and another one is called co-citation analysis. What this bibliographic coupling means? Basically, bibliographic coupling is associated with the cited references, whereas the co-citation analysis is basically based on citing references. That means bibliographic coupling is based on the papers that the author cite in his paper, and co-citation analysis is basically based on the idea that how much paper or other paper have been quoted or used that paper for further writing. So these 2 terms, bibliographic coupling and co-citation analysis, is very, very important, because this bibliographic coupling, if we able to track the bibliographic coupling, then it is very easily possible to identify the research front. You must have idea that today's every nations, every country, every organization, every institution is very much busy to identify the research front. Why? Because in any organization, money should be invested on that direction which gives its word to the institution. Any policymaker, in any cases, a policymaker will only be interested to increase or decrease the fund to knowing about whether there is in which research fund this organization is expert. Say, for example, is the Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose University is very expert in chemistry areas, then certainly these people, by looking this bibliographic coupling of the paper, that will try to understand how much the contribution this NSU Subhash Chandra Bose University is producing in the field of chemistry. Accordingly, they will release the fund for the further research or improvement of science in the field of chemistry. So, this is very, very important domain or area by which the funding process is mainly evolved or mainly based on. Similarly, the co-citation analysis is very to understand in how much knowledge base this particular area, this particular institutions have. Say, for example, I am writing a paper, my colleague is also writing a paper, but both of two cite or refer to a single paper. That means both the two we have altogether, maybe we are staying different parts of the globe, but it is very interesting to understand that who are my community to whom I should share my paper. Because there is very, very essential thing in today's context is not only on publishing, but after publishing, we make it visualize, we make it deliver, we make it send to our peers. But who are our peers? Who are the actual peers? How we will get know who are the peers? If we distribute our thoughts to them, probably we'll get little bit benefit, either by knowledge benefit or by financial benefit, or maybe some synergic benefit. So by which way we'll able to understand who are my peers, who are the actual recipient of a particular piece of information. That is, in today's context, is very, very important. Wave is full of information and misinformation. If you identify your customers, bank is also trying to know your customers, KYC. Like the way, just few days back, I was in Kolkata, somewhere I was seeing, know your clients, know your customers, and another word is very interesting. I have seen, I am not recalling, it's very interesting, know your community. So it's not only that only for bibliographic coupling and citation analysis is only associated or related with your publication. It is huge implication because of these two terms. So you have to understand, whenever we write a paper, casually or seriously, we cite or use certain papers. And whenever we receive citation, probably seriously we receive citation from different parts, but it indicates how our paper or how our subject is, from which domain and who are the potential customer of our paper, which may help or lead us to understand the collaboration in better manner. That's why citation matrix's present context is very, very essential. Now let's come down. What are the very essential is, what are the tools? We are talking about impact, we are talking about citation and everyone. You have to understand that in citation analysis domain, there are only and only these three tools by which we can measure the impact of citation of an article. These three tools are journal impact factor. It was earlier maintained by Thomson Reuters. Now it is product of Clarivate Analytics. Second one is SGR and SNIP. Both are the product of Elsevier. They are the three giants by which who are only producing the quality criteria for a paper. So if else of these three, if someone is claiming that my paper receives such a citation or my paper have impact of so and so, these all are, please try to understand, they all are vague. They have no meaning at all. I will later on show it, but let first understand what actually this impact factor, which is very, very costly services developed by Thomson Reuters. Previously, it was developed by Eugene Garfield. Later on, it was come into the force, and then it is being used internationally as the single tool for measuring the quality of a journal, quality of publication of an author, and everything. So, what this journal impact factor is? Basically, if you see the formula, whenever an article published in a particular year, this year and another year, these 2-year articles and the citation that has been received by that journal on that year and the subsequent year has been considered for counting the journal impact factor. Okay, so here you please try to understand the year is 2 year. Its window is called 2-year window. That means 2 publications year, 2 citation year window. Both are considered. One is denominator, one is numerator. By citation as a numerator and publication as denominator, we make it a fractional value or maybe some value which is known as the impact factor of the journal. But there are some story also hidden in this factor. What is this story? First story is it only considers citable item, author, that item that is cited of that article, if it is comes from journal article or some purely scholarly articles that have been indexed by Web of Science, or you can say, better to say, Web of Knowledge. If some articles or journal which is not indexed by Web of Science or not any scholarly sources, non-scholarly sources means if this citation received from reviews or some notes or some editorials or some letter to editors, these are never considered for counting the journal impact factor. So you have to understand, it's not only the matter of citation. Along with the matter of citation, you have to understand the source of citation is very, very important. There is another factor that these people are now publishing, and this known as Eigen factor. Eigen factor, basically this Eigen factor is basically based on 5-year window. Okay, and these 5-year windows basically related with little bit on influence. Now the question comes, why this Eigen factor comes into the picture? That's why, before stating on that, it comes to the other 2 factor that is being developed by Elsevier, and that is called SJR and SNIP. You know, this JIF is very, very popular, and it is the only criteria to measure the quality of the journal. So there are 2 big giants in the publishing or in this domain. You must know Elsevier is one of them. So Elsevier was trying to develop another such criteria to evaluate the quality of journal. They have developed 2, SNIP and SJR. This SJR, Siagmo Journal Ranking, is basically known as prestige matrix. Why it is prestige matrix? Because along with citation, it try to understand the from which subject and the prestige or the quality of the journal from which that citation comes. Along with the total citation, they also try to count from which source. That source means not only the journal, the prestige of that journal, or you can say the quality of the journal. They have developed certain criteria to evaluate the quality of a journal. According to that, they measures the SJR. Certainly, due to that, the SJR value becomes very, very low for a qualitative journal. Altogether, JIF or journal impact factor is little bit high, but SJR value comes to very less. Why? Because they are considering the impact or the citation factor, or you can say on the basis of the quality of the journal, along with citation, from which qualitative journal it is coming, from which subject it belongs to. These both are. And the last one, SNIP, as you know, in cytometrics, in statistics, in fact, better to say, normalization is very, very important one. Only the trend and only the citation may not be the only criteria to judge the quality. So they have put in normalization value to count the citation. What type of normalization they are using? They are using subject normalization. Say, for example, this article published in this subject chemistry, they are trying to gather it how much chemistry related journal cite this paper. If that paper has been cited by physics related journal or other journal, they are not treating it as a direct relation with that paper. So just to understand the knowledge base on that particular domain, SNIP is one of the most beautiful criteria to judge the quality of a journal. But try to understand, if somebody says there are so many tools, so I will go for that one. I am just want to say one word, that except these three tools, there are no such tools exist by which you can actually measure the quality of an article or quality of a journal. So whenever you are going to submit your article, it is always suggested to check out your article whether they are included into this database or not. For that, I am just little bit showing you the actual website in where this is, you can get it. I am showing it in live. Okay, now we are reaching into the SGR. Probably you are looking this site. Now, if I type a particular journal called Current Science, okay, you will find it, the total citation it has received, how much citation it has received from its own journal, like that. Along with it has recommended some related terms journal from all over the world. If you know Current Science from India, you click it, then Current Science, then H index will come. I will talk on this H index after just a little bit of that. And after that, you will find the actual value, the article, this SGR, they have calculated it. And if you come into the last, here it will be find you, its quartile 2 impact SGR value is 0.28. So by this way, you can able to understand, okay, it's a qualitative journal. You may try it with your own journal. Just type the journal name over here. If the journal is accessible or searchable over here, exactly the same title you are asked for, then at least you are able to understand, yes, it's a potential platform in where I can submit my article. The right side one, if you see, it is the JCR, Journal Citation Report. Actually, this report is very, very costly. Probably you know its cost is near about 12.5 lakh rupees. It's only published in the month of July and August. The whole world usually wait for this report. And it's so crazy report, it's so important report for academic research that everybody on July and August, they are looking, every journal publishing is looking onto that report. Altogether, it is available into the web, to the Clarivet Analytics original website. By the grace of this free sources, if you simply type JCR 2021, if you see, I can see it, I can also show it to you. Just simply here in here, I am typing it as JCR 2021. It will display. Try to understand, there will be so many papers from Clarivet Analytics will come. Don't go that. Only which is coming from researchgate.net. It is a free service. Here, this full text download is available. Here, if you click it, the full text download, you can get it at your doorstep. Here, you will see three type of impact is showing. First one is actual impact factor, which is known as journal impact factor. And then it mentioned the quartile, in which quartile it received the citation. Along with the 5-year impact factor, it is showing to you. So these are the two tools by which you can check. And these are the three measures by which you can understand how much a journal is qualitatively strong. If they are included into these two databases, probably it may be fair to say that you can choose it as a platform for publishing. Simultaneously, I always suggest to everybody, whenever you are looking for, go through this site. This is another very site to understand the archiving policy of the journal. But along with the archiving policy, the same site you can also use understanding the quality of the journal, because it's a project by which only the qualitative journals of the whole over world is being included. So you can also type, you can try it on your own. I am just timing it, current science. Here also you will see, along with that, you will understand the publication archiving policy of that journal. Because why I am talking that? After publishing of an article, if an author doesn't know whether I am violating any copyright law, if I republish that article in form of my book, forthcoming books, few of my article, if I take it for the use of academic purposes, whether I should go for any violation of Copyright Act. For that, you please check it over here, what that policy, that particular journal publisher follow. I am again telling you, if that publisher in where you have chosen your earlier publication, if it is a qualitative journal, then only it will come. Otherwise, it will not come. So you will not able to understand the archiving policy. By this published version, submitted version, and accepted version, which extent or which version that current science.india, your current science, Indian Academy of Science, allows you, you can able to understand. So accordingly, if you submit your article, if you again republish your article with little bit preprint or proofspring, you will certainly not violate the copyright law. So you, for knowing how far, how much I am going to violate the copyright, along with the quality criteria, you must check this site to know about the archiving policy. Now, the question comes, as I am talking about, there are only two criteria, there are only two things, two services by which you can measure the quality of the journal. But it is always not possible to search it, to find it, to get it, know about the quality of journal. Okay. So I am just here giving you, trying to show you little bit criteria by which you can able to understand how much a qualitative journal is. And lively I will show by displaying one journal which claims that that journal is a very highly qualitative. Mainly in today's context, you please try to understand, a journal must not able to include so many articles in a particular issue. It is an impossible task. It must not provided review process so fast. It must follow certain standard in its article. It must certainly follow editorial board, should have certain recognition, or the editors must be well known. Anybody cannot be the editor of a journal. It must consider article globally. It must receive citation globally. It must include important databases like Web of Science, Scopus. Not only these two, but there are some few more also. If they are included into these databases, you may consider is a platform for publishing. Now, let's see about this journal. Again, I am showing you this journal claiming that its impact factor is 5.692. Now, let me check one by one, few of the point of this journal to understand how far this journal qualitatively good as it is claimed to. First, if we come to the journal, International Journal of Engineering Research and Application, if you simply type this journal with its name, you will find prototype, or you can say mimic or verbatim name journal, so many journals on that. A internationally qualitative journal should not copy the name of some other good journals. It should not be. And in generally, our practices have noticed that a good journal must not start it with the word of international and global. Because journal is a platform for scholarly communication, certainly it must be global. If a journal feels necessary to recognize them or to knock the reader that they are international, it must not be the criteria to judge. Simultaneously, you please check this editorial board if it is possible. If such type of fake editorial board you are find in a journal, in where names are there, country name is there, but the actual identity, who is Manju Sharma, there may be thousands of Manju Sharma from India who are serving as an editor. There may be thousands of Dr. Rao of PhD USA from USA. So if a journal uses such vague type of editorial board composition, never choose those journals as a platform, to my understanding. Because these journals particularly trying to gather money by processing charges. Why? Because you just see this journal is receiving 3,000 rupees per month just to publish an articles. And if you go its archives, in every article, it includes almost 120 to 130, 150 articles per issue. You just see here 76 articles into 9. Almost 750 articles in this journal in a monthly volume. Do you believe for a human, is it possible to control 760 articles per issue to make a review process? But this journal, fortunately, on its first website, on its homepage, it first says it's an online peer review international journal. What is peer review they are following, God knows. And interestingly, if you see the sites properly, here you will find this type of links they have using into their journal. If you click it, all links will find you missing links. So such type of vague information, if some journals is claiming, and they are claiming impact factor of 6.465. By what? Because they are counting their impact factor by their own, just copying the process as CIAGMO journal ranking follow. If you see the outlook of CIAGMO journal ranking output, the page structure and this IGAR page structure, both are looks like same. Why a journal need to copy the display format of other journal just to inform user that they are good journal? Never choose such type of journals as a platform. Now the question may comes to you, they are claiming the impact factor of 6 point this one, from where they got this. These are the misleading impact factor. Probably it is better to say impact factor shock. Every impact factor have common or same authority or proprietor. If any journal is indexed or claiming their impact factor by such impact factor mechanism process, don't believe it, it's a good quality journal. I always suggest don't choose it as a platform for your qualitative publication. Because once you unknowingly publish your articles for your whole academic life, everybody may quote that he is publishing such a predatory journals. He has a habit to publish just to increase the number into its credit. So I don't believe to go for such type of practices in academic line. It will lead to be a better practice. So these are all about the impact and all. Altogether, in today's context, there is 3 tools which has become popular, known as H-index, G-index, and IT-index. You all know, I am not talking about what actually this H-index and G-index are. I am trying to show you why these are important. Because if a author have a consistent performance on its publication, then he certainly have a high H-index. You have seen over here, author A, author B, author C. Altogether, the article published by author C was received 230 and 190 citations, but unfortunately impact H-index come to 2. Why? Because only the 2 articles which received 2 or more citation. The third article again received 2 citations. Its H-index will reach to 3 only when the third article will also receive at least 3 citations. So this 3, 2, 1 doesn't looks like very near to each other, but try to understand if a author have more than 10 G-index. And if he regularly publishing articles, then it takes huge time to reach from 10 to 11. It takes huge time if he not regularly involved into the publication, or if he only have some publication with some joint or collaborative authorship to some good authors, then he linked with that authors, then such type of authors, his H-index structure will be visible. But if a consistent player like our Sachin Tendulkar or your Saurabh Ganguly probably is a category of author A. I am not talking about who is author C in cricket. You have to understand consistent performance in academic communication or writing is very, very important. So these are the criteria to judge the quality of an institution, of a person. But journal impact factor is a criteria to judge the quality of the journal. Okay, altogether journals as a treating it as an institution, they are also counting the H-index. But this H-index is particularly meant for the institution and or person who have regularly or consistently doing well in academics communication process. There is a tool called Publish or Perish. You please try to download it in these tools. It's a free tool. Whenever you will get time, you download it, you will use it. Now, in today's context, as I am taking time, I am just little bit compressing my idea. In today's context, only the citation is not the factor to judge the quality. In today's context, three other terms or idea comes into the domain. And this three way by which you measure the quality, one is called link analysis, another one is called webometric analysis, and very recent one is called altmetric analysis. Actually, the link analysis is based on an idea how much hyperlink a particular website have. Either it may be inward hyperlink or maybe outward hyperlink. But it unable to explain you the purpose of hyperlink. That's why Google, this Alexa analytics, or you can say link analysis, is very good for commercial search engine or commercial services like Facebook, like Twitter, like WhatsApp and all. If somebody have web interface, how much link they are regularly using and creating and how much it is directed towards that, it's very important to understand. But academic content wise, if we see, academic content or academic impact is basically related with whether this citation or link have some impact in terms of scholarly communication process. That means if some citation or link comes from web pages or any other non-commercial sites or commercial site, does it have any meaning? That's why link analysis not become so popular. Just to putting that idea in little bit purified form, Professor Ingerson was once developed webometric analysis. And he was one of the person, Rousseau, along with Rousseau, he has used the word citation. It's just like citation, but it's known as citation. Okay. So it's citation. It's basically also include the impact. They are trying to discriminate the total input link in form of category that is based on web impact factor. That's why they was developed. But it was also not become so popular. Very popular tool present day is altmetrics, but it's also have limitations. And this altmetrics is basically counting how much download, how much tweet, how much retweet, how much social media platform this article is getting recognition. That means how much it has been shared by author in tweet and how much it gets retweet. How much person again send it, forward it to other community for its dissemination. So actually what impact is? Impact basically means, if you clearly try to guess it, that impact means influence. So if you get it that how much influence an articles have, then this may be a good tool to understand the impact of an article. But if somebody in traditional way or in de facto way, if somebody is understanding impact means only citation, then still and still we should believe, we should be concentrated ourselves that the citation a journal received from various scholarly sources, that should be considered for counting the impact. Now, these are the tools very, very important to knowing about the visibility of your identity. Here I am showing you the very, very tools. Why I am showing this? Because today's context, publishing articles, only publishing article doesn't have any meaning unless it reaches to the community. There are 6 tools which are popularly being used in this domain. I should not say 6, there may be number of tools, but these are well known. One is academia, one is ResearchGate, one is Google Scholar, one is Impact Story, one is LinkedIn, and one is ORCID. Actually, if you try to become an author, you should have an ORCID ID. You should be intimate your work into ResearchGate. You must have some LinkedIn ID that may be treated as a criteria to identify you and to display your identity to the global community. Now the question comes, why it is very essential to increase the visibility? Because or because just to get more citation, just to get more readability of your article, it is very, very important that people should involve or display its publication to the world community by these tools. But at the same time, there are certain tricks involved when you write your article. You must adopt certain tools, certain techniques by which you can increase your visibility. These techniques basically, you always write the core idea, core content of your subject onto the abstract, onto the title, onto the keyword. This is the very first thing. Whenever an author writes articles, he must be considered that the main keyword should be the first keyword. Main theme of the paper must comes into the title, or it must the first line or second line into the abstract. Then it will certainly be indexed easily by the search engine indexer or robots. One should be very much careful to choose proper term which pertains to its article theme. It should be included. Simultaneously, he should exploit the social network site to disseminate his article. Probably some bad comments come that people are using this just to make it publicized. But this era is for publisher. You have to publicize your work as far as possible by putting your work into some social platform so that people will know what you are doing, what is very, very important. And simultaneously, you must submit your work to some open institutional archives. There are so many open institutional archives who, without taking any fund and anything, or if you have institutional archives at your institution, certainly you upload it, uplink it of your article. It is very, very 3 important things that an author must do for increase the visibility. Okay, so I am just touching about the citation part and little bit of visibility part. These are the tools. Altogether, I think I have already taken my part. I must not take much more of that. But as it's a matter of fact, as it is very, very important, I am just trying to show you the 3 tools. One is called Excel. Another one, I must say you must use this IBM SPSS. And third one, you must use this R. These are the 3 tools which a bibliometrics process one should be very much well aware of. Probably you may ask to me, why Excel? Why it's not SPSS? Because statistics based tool. Okay. SPSS is very excellent for handling the numeric data. But if you have an idea, proper idea of Excel, then you can do excellent piece of job in Excel if your data is mixed up, character as well as numeric. Say, for example, here, how many authors these articles have. It's a very simple command. I am just trying to show it and then leave it. It's a field is called author. In this field, you select it and then go by data, move it by text to column. If it is says text to column, then you are just saying every author is separated by comma. Then you make it comma and then make it next and make it finish. Then the total article will be separated by your columns. Okay, the total article will be explicitly moved by some columns. I am just showing you there may be certain mistake. Let me one by one check what it was saying. General, it's a large number of cells, that's why it is showing a problem. So just taking few data and showing the same formula in a sheet 2. I am showing it just to explain what the beauty of the Excel is. Here the author is, I am taking a small piece, text to column, make it delimited by and then separated by comma, then make it finish. Every author will be go in different cell. Okay, if it is separated, then there is a command called count blank. If you make some count blank command, put it on your own way, then it will explain you how much the total author this article have. Okay, because here it is 3, someone it is 4, maybe in somewhere it is 20, someone it's 20. The last cell you have to only identify. On that large cell, you can able to know what are the total authors is. It's a long process. It's a little bit expanding process. Just now it is difficult to explain you all as the time is very short. But there is another tool called SPSS. In SPSS, basically it's a mean for handling data. So if we are going for SPSS, try to first understand, you have to first explain the variable name over here, then input data into the next cell, then it will only be delivered. And third one is R. Then if you say R, there is a called package. In package, you have to load package, and there is a load package. There are so many packages are there, and there is a package called bibliometrics you have to load. By the bibliometrics, if you can load, then all bibliometric calculation along with regression analysis and all, you can do it very easily in these services. Time is very short. I am not taking time as Professor Parthasarathy will take up this part. But dear friends, the last one, not least one, probably Professor Parthasarathy will take up this part. There are the current trend of understanding the impact of article and impact of citation and how the citation and impact have correlation, or you can better to say how you can establish the relation with one with another can be visualized by some visualization tool. These tools, there are 3 tools are very, very important. One is called PZAP. It's a free tool. You can download it at your home, at your own desktop, use it. It is very, very good tool to understand closeness centrality, betweenness centrality, or structural whole. Closeness centrality means two author, how closely they are related with each other. The distance between two entity or two nodes, if become too nearer, that means they are very tightly connected. If their links are very far away, means they are not correctly or tightly connected. How they are do it, Professor Parthasarathy probably little bit touch on that. Betweenness means for one node to another node, who are doing as a center or who are serving as the important for scholarly communication process. And the structural whole means in the network, which author, if we make them off, the total network becomes scratched or become breaked. That is very important because of which author. Say for example, a author have a author group. Who are the leading author? Whether his leadership will leads to any effect into the citation process. Today, you can understand it by network visualization method. There is another tool which is openly available altogether. It's not free of cost. It's not open source. That is called Bobspewer. You can download it. You can use it. Very simple tool. And another one is called Gephi. Okay. These are the 3 tools. Probably Professor Parthasarathy will take up this. But this Bobspewer is basically to look after the node link and link strength. PZAC is basically closeness, betweenness, structural whole. and the Gephi is particularly open source software that Bob's viewer usually do. You can download it and then you can customize it according to your own, and then you can use it on your own because it displays the graph in a very minute fashion. So it is very important tool to understand.